All right, well, let's get down to business. It is now time to preview the big event going on, that is the Battle of Bristol, or as many Virginia Tech and Tennessee fans like to call it, in the build-up or in the negotiations that happened for such a long time to put this game together. They like to call it the Hokey Smokey Classic. But at any rate, it should be quite the event. About 150,000 people are expected to attend this game at Bristol Motor Speedway, which is about the halfway point between the two schools. But, this is going to be just a massive game. The highest attended American football game ever is the expectation here. And it's going to be a massive, massive gathering of passionate college football fans. So the Virginia Tech Hokies will enter this game coming off of a 36-13 win over the Liberty Flames in Week 1. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Volunteers entered this matchup coming off of a 20-17 really close comeback win over Appalachian State. So, Tennessee had a serious scare early on. They were ranked as a top 10 team with a coach who really has a ton of pressure on his shoulders this year in Butch Jones. Very different situation than new Virginia Tech head coach Justin Fuente. So, this could be a game that really determines the directions of both schools' seasons, for better or for worse. Now, Virginia Tech had Gerard Evans, in his first game as a Hokie quarterback, became the first Virginia Tech quarterback since 2004 to throw for 4 touchdowns in a game, and he was the 13th consecutive Virginia Tech starting quarterback to open his career with a win. Had some accuracy issues early on, but 3 touchdown passes to Isaiah Ford, Cam Phillips, and a pair to Bucky Hodges. Now, Isaiah Ford, I thought, played a fantastic game. Well over 100 yards receiving, had that touchdown grab. But interestingly enough, wide receivers coach Holman Wiggins said he could have done better. He said he could have caught everything. And, he's keeping that bar high for, Isaiah Ford, who is just one of the best receivers in all of college football. And, when we're breaking down this game in matchups, there is no matchup more intriguing than the one between Isaiah Ford and Cameron Sutton, cornerback of Tennessee, All-American player, who had an interception last week that, really picked the Vols up and kind of served as the catalyst for their comeback. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one-on-one matchup there. 2 talented players who seem to be, rising up NFL draft boards. And surely this game will provide plenty of film for scouts to dissect. So with that, Virginia Tech will also be looking to improve their running game. Sam Rogers got most of the carries early on. Then Trayvon McMillan started seeing a lot more carries in the second half, and they were able to also incorporate Shy McKenzie into the rushing attack, which I really like to see. He's a very talented runner as well, but I would like to see Trayvon McMillan serve as the lead dog. He seems like the most agile and elusive back. Maybe not the biggest, but I'd say the most explosive and the best playmaking ability of that bunch. Looking at the Tennessee offense, leading the way for them will be quarterback Josh Dobbs, who, has been dealing with some inconsistency issues. So what does Bud Foster like to do when going up against inconsistent quarterbacks? Well, the same thing he likes to do against every quarterback. Blitz. You can expect plenty of blitzes on Josh Dobbs. They're going to try to make him uncomfortable early on, whereas from Tennessee's point of view, they may be looking to instead focus on the running game to find early momentum, because they have a thunder and lightning tandem in Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara. Kamara is kind of the lightning bolt, while Hurd brings the tough running on the inside. And Hurd rushed for 110 yards on 28 carries. You would imagine that he will be called upon early on to set the tone for the Volunteer offense and make things a little bit easier for Dobbs leading the offense. Now he does have a speedy trio of receivers, and those guys include Josh Malone, Preston Williams, and Josh Smith. And in the defense, the name to watch out for on the Tennessee side is Derek Barnett, who recorded 10 sacks last season, including 69 total tackles with 12.5 tackles for loss. So, Tennessee will bring a defense that has strong players from the line, linebackers, and in the secondary. Now, in terms of what Virginia Tech will bring defensively, Ken Eckerman, you know, uh, the Centerville, Virginia product, he's going to, hopefully be able to build off the momentum of last weekend. He recorded the 15th sack of his career. Meanwhile, Chuck Clark and Andrew Matua-Puwaka tied for the team lead in tackles with 7 apiece. But, another guy who really impressed me was defensive end Vinny Mihota, because, he had 4 tackles, but also, 2 quarterback hurries. So one of the type of guys who's going to get things done and make things happen in ways that are not necessarily reflected initially on the stat sheet. Another guy who commanded double teams was redshirt freshman Tim Settle on the defensive line. Will he start this week? I don't know. Probably not. He is still a young guy, but he's going to continue to work his way into the rotation. And I do also wonder whether Wyatt Teller will start. It's kind of hard to figure out why he is not starting at this point, considering he is the most talented offensive lineman on the team, but there seems to be something going on behind the scenes there, but you hope that it can all get squared away. So, you're looking at a Hokie defense, too, that's important to mention. Will bring Adonis Alexander, who's coming off just a fantastic freshman year, back into the fold. He served his 1-game suspension last weekend. So, Alexander complementing Brandon Faison and, Greg Stroman, who had 2 picks last week. Just a fantastic game, rightfully got a lot of national accolades for that performance. Those 3 guys I think will play huge roles in slowing down Tennessee's offense. But it might come down for the Hokies whether or not they can slow down Tennessee's rushing attack. So for this game, there are a lot of intriguing matchups, most notably, as I mentioned earlier, Sutton versus Ford, wide receiver versus cornerback. I'm backing this game to be a very, very close one. Yes, Tennessee are the double-digit favorites, but I think the Hokies are going to come out very strong in this one. They're going to come ready to play. Frank Beamer is going to be in attendance. And I'm going to take Virginia Tech to win by a field goal in the final minute of the game. I think it's going to come down to the very end. It's going to be a thriller and the battle at Bristol, and I can't wait to watch.